Hope everybody's coming to breakfast in the morning.
Yeah!
Well, you know, one of my rules is that if we're doing something very serious, like running for the presidency and promoting a just cause, that we have fun doing it, and it looks like you're having fun doing it. Somebody has called this a revolution. Have you ever heard that term? The media once in a while asked me about that, and this week they said, what is this revolution? What is this love business? And can you explain that to me? I says, well, you know, I don't know exactly what it means, but I think that means everybody involved loves the Constitution. We all love freedom. We all love prosperity. And of course, one of our ultimate goals, if you have freedom and prosperity and liberty and the Constitution, we would have a lot more peace in the world. Okay.
We can hear you still.
Switch gears. How's that? A little bit better. Now, the campaign has been going exceptionally well. Many of you have heard that I was very reluctant to get involved, and I was worried that there would be very many of you. I was a skeptic, and I'm sorry I was a skeptic. Because there are a lot of people joining on a daily basis, and it's very exciting because there's a lot of young people.
Yes!
There's a lot of older people who are young in spirit, and they're with us. The groups are very diverse. When we come together, it is not the ordinary group that one would expect in the Republican Party. But you know, we don't want the Republican Party to get smaller. We want the Republican Party to get bigger by standing for something, standing on principle. You've noticed, but the rhetoric of the Republican Party and many Republicans have been pretty good over the years. We're for less government and balanced budgets and cutting back and all these wonderful things, but we haven't been getting good results. And I think that's what this campaign is all about. That is, if we want smaller government and balanced budgets, we need to really do it. You know, I kid a little bit about it. I said we have, in audiences like this, we do have some very dedicated, long-time Republicans, such as myself. I've elected to Congress 10 times as a Republican. But we have a lot of independents. I venture to guess there are an independent or two here. I venture to guess there are a few people here who have never been involved before and are getting involved for the first time. They may not want to say it out loud, but in many of our rallies, I say, could there be any Democrats that have joined us? And they say, so it is wonderful, and I'm convinced the message of freedom brings people together. And the message of entitlements and welfareism and socialism divides people. Because government decides everything. Decides how we should run our lives, decides how the economy should be run, how we should spend our money, and decides what we think other people should do around the world. Very divisive. And freedom is exactly the opposite. Freedom is based on the belief that people are smart enough to take care of themselves. This does make one assumption, and John Adams was very good on this. He said, for a free society to work and freedom to work, you have to assume responsibility for oneself, and it has to be a moral society for it to work. But coming together, I mean, we have different groups. The rallies are just fantastic. We had a rally not too long ago at the University of Southern California, and there were about 1,100 people came out, and believe me, it was very diverse. It was diverse by all measurements, and yet there has been so much talk and complaining about young people not being interested. But on the campuses now, the young people are interested. They will receive the message of liberty. And this is so exciting to me that the young people have responded. Not only were there a lot more people than I ever dreamed of that held these views and had understood them and studied them and related to them over the many years, but the new people coming in is just really encouraging. So a lot of people say, well, I'm doing a great job encouraging you, but the truth is, people like you who are interested and respond and are willing to go out and work, actually you give me the energy necessary, so it's a mutual affection, let me tell you. If we define liberty as being allowing people to lead their own lives and allowing you to spend your own money, in the 70s when we got off the last vestiges of the gold standard, I said we're in for trouble. I'll let you in a little personal secret of a personal conversation I had with President Reagan once. I was on the Gold Commission. I got on a helicopter with him, and we were riding out to Andrews Air Force Base, and we had a personal conversation. I told him I had just come from the Gold Commission, and I had known he was sympathetic to the gold standard. And he said, you know, he said that it was his belief that any time a great nation went off the gold standard, history shows that that nation will no longer remain great. And I think it's profound, and I think this is what's happening. And of course, the whole world is off the gold standard in integrity and money, and we're facing some very serious financial problems today. Our dollar is losing value every single day, and we have to deal with that. But to me, it's not a difficult problem to deal with. We got in this problem because we didn't obey the Constitution. All we have to do is obey the Constitution. That is very, very important that we should be, and we've gotten into a lot of trouble in my lifetime, especially since World War II, is the way we get ourselves involved in military conflicts. I mean, we have now, over the years, gotten involved carelessly under UN resolutions and all sorts of excuses. The Constitution is explicit. It says no war without a declaration of war by the Congress. Ever since we've been going to war without a declaration, we really haven't won any. They're perpetual, they're political, they've become, attached to the United Nations. And, we can be old-fashioned at times. I think we all should be so old-fashioned that we still believe in American sovereignty. The message of peace and prosperity is so powerful that we don't have to, as candidates or promoters of a cause, to be promising stuff. Because when governments say, well, I'm going to give you this or this and this, governments have nothing. They have to steal it from somebody else in order to do it, and then they undermine the production of the country. So this whole concept is such a beautiful concept. It came with America. We benefited by it. It was the greatest experiment ever. It's a new idea. It's not an old idea. We don't have to go back to ancient traditions. You know what is ancient? An ancient tradition is tyranny. And that's what we have to reject. So we benefited from the American Revolution. It was a grand experiment. We still are blessed with a great deal of freedoms. But we're now at a precipitous, we're at a level where we could lose our freedoms precipitously. They're being undermined daily. When you look at the loss of habeas corpus and warrantless searches and national ID cards, all of these things have to be rejected. What we need to do is move this experiment along. It's a new idea, individual liberty and freedom, and we need to understand it clearly. We need to be able to deliver the message, and we really need to give the next generation a chance. And this is what they deserve. And that means we have to really